Well, hello. Welcome back to Music Monday with Johnny Tiger on November 30, 2020. One day before December, and very soon it will be Christmas. Around Christmas time, uh, we are always, well, at least me anyway, myself, I'm always scrambling, trying to figure out what is the best gift for people. Uh, and one of the greatest things I have found through the years of being an artist, being a musician, being a writer, is when I don't have money for Christmas gift, I can usually make them. And quite often, the music or the pictures or the sculptures I make turn out to be a lot more appreciated and treasured than anything money could buy. So, if you're like me, scrambling, trying to find the right gift for the right person and try to make sure you have the money for the right gift, then maybe it's time to consider taking up a hobby or try your hand at making something from your own hand. It doesn't have to be elaborate, it doesn't have to be fancy, but it will be unique. Speaking of that, I'm going to give you a preview of another album today. Unlike the previous previews, this will be one of my instrumental albums in which I showcased multiple instruments and various settings. The album is going by the little whimsy name of Little Snake Charmer. And why is it called Little Snake Charmer? Because when I was making this album, when I was putting it together, I really had no idea what I should call this. Most other times, while I'm making an album or working on an album, it already become clear what I should call it. Uh, but Little Snake Charmer was one of those that I finished, and I said, "Wow, this is a nice album," but I have no idea what I should call this. And then I looked at what's on this album. There's various wind instrument, and it's very melodic, very hypnotic. And I thought, Snake Charmer. That's it, Little Snake Charmer. Um, it took me many years before making my first instrumental album. In fact, it's something that I only started doing very recently. And mostly, I guess because I was secure with my ability to write songs and lyrics, and I was secure in my vocal ability, but I was always under the impression that my ability on pure instrument, piano, guitar, flute, clarinet, whatever, was not quite up to par with other musicians who are out there. And just the other day, I was on YouTube and watching this flute player channel, and I got that feeling. I was watching this lady playing the flute, and I was like, man, that's so good. Like comparing to that, I am like an elementary school student. But hey, that is the beauty of freedom nowadays. Anyone who got a bit of know-how and a bit of time on their hand can come up with their own album and pop it onto Apple Music, Amazon, and Spotify. And if people buy them, people buy them. If people don't, they don't. I hope that after listening to this album, you will at least go on to Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever you use to listen to your music and give it a shot. But if not, well, hey, I hope it will be enjoyable anyway. The first song I'm going to show you is called The Field of Crimson. The Field of Crimson was very special, is very special, in that it was the first ever instrumental piece I have written. I wrote it back when I was 16 years old for memorial for Remembrance Day celebration here in Canada. For those of you who are not Canadian, it is the equivalent and on the same day as your Veterans Day. And basically, it's the same thing. We um, remember and appreciate the World War veterans for what they have done. So, before the ceremony, I wrote The Field of Crimson, and I never thought that it would have become one of the most popular songs in school that year, and I never thought that I would have had the honor to play it in a duo against my music teacher's piano with my recorder flute on stage live on Remembrance Day. So here is The Field of Crimson by Johnny S. Detail from the album Little Snake Charmer. That was a Field of Crimson, one of the very few, actually, one of the very few instrumental pieces I've ever written and been pretty proud of myself. The next song should come as very familiar to those of you who have been following the previous. That wasn't meant to be part of it. Anyway, that was my alarm. The next song is should be very familiar for those of you who follow the past album preview I believe it was on the Loveless Love this song appeared. It is called The Sand Hills in the Wind, and it was the first song I've ever written that won an award. Of course, back then I wrote it on the guitar, and only much later that I attempted to play it and record it on the recorder flute. But anyway, here is Sand Hills in the Wind, Johnny S. Ttai from the Little Snake Charmer album. That's Sandhill in the Wind, using some very classic bamboo flute type of technique on a straight recorder flute. Not the right instrument, but I think it turned out just as good. Anyway, that's my opinion on that one. Um, a lot of people ask me why I don't have any backdrop music. Like a lot, if you watch or listen to a lot of instrumental solo players on YouTube or on various albums, they usually have piano backing them up or guitar backing them up and stuff like that. Well, all I can tell you is I'm lazy. Yeah? When I play flute, when I play whatever instrument for solo performance, I just want it to be solo performance. I don't want to go through the trouble of trying to record a piano track or try to record a drum track or a guitar track and then mess around with mixing and stuff like that because I feel that the way it is with one instrument doing the work and just some nature sound in the background is a lot more honest. Uh, that's just my opinion. Speaking of one instrument, actually, it's not always going to be the case. In this next song, I'm going to show you called "The Long Goodbye," original song by famous singer Eric Mew, and transposed to for recorder flute by myself. This one I had to perform on two recorder flutes. Not at the same time, of course, but because of the range of the song, I actually had to do a quick switch halfway through to switch to a lower, deeper tone flute between the alto and the baritone to be able to get the song completed. So it was a bit of a agility, dexterity test. Uh, Here is the Long Goodbye, originally by Eric Mew, performed by Johnny S. Ttai on the Little Snake Charmer album. Oh, it's a long goodbye. I don't know if you guys can hear when I switched instrument. It was a rather tricky song to record because of that. And yes, I will admit I did have to cut the audio a few times and trim the audio a few times using some editing magic. But yeah, that's how that song was made, to be able to be so smooth between transitioning of instruments. The next song I'm going to show you guys is called "A Sorrowful Walk." The Sorrowful Walk, and uh, it's done by originally written by a very old Taiwanese singer back in the 1970s, I believe. Um, some people might have remembered me posting a Mandarin cover of this song on my channel before. Also, this song has appeared as a backdrop for the Johnny Tiger uh, documentary. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please head over to johnnytiger.com and you will find the documentary and all the related information over there. Here, without further ado, is The Sorrowful Walk by Johnny S.T. Tai on the Little Snake Charmer album. I don't know if you guys can tell through in the recording here that the sound was very slowly rotating around in a wide field, like the person playing the flute is actually walking back and forth. That was intentionally done with editing software to create that feeling of a movement and a kind of a drifting quality to the song. Now, I understand that a lot of people, especially people who are not into instrumental music as much, or people who are not really connoisseurs of flute music, uh, will, by this time, we have already previewed four songs, and by this time, a lot of you are probably thinking everything's starting to sound the same. Everything's starting to sound just like the previous one. And that's okay, because you know what? When I listen to violin music, that's how I feel too. Like they can all be beautiful songs, but after four or five of them, they all start to sound the same. So we are going to take a break from recorder flute music because uh, contrary to what some people expect, I don't just play the recorder flute. A few years ago, I actually took a crack at learning how to play the concert flute. I'm nowhere as good on the concert flute as I am on the recorder flute. In fact, I say I'm really not that good on the concert flute. But I did think to include one of my concert flute practice piece on the Little Snake Charmer album, and I will share with you now. It's a cute little Chinese traditional song called Little Yellow Bird. Here is the Little Yellow Bird on the concert flute by Johnny S.T. Tai from the Little Snake Charmer album. The Little Yellow Bird song was written a couple hundred years ago in China. I'm pretty sure they never expected to have it played on a Western concert flute. It was more a bamboo flute piece, but I really liked to use that song for warm up and practice, so I included that here. A lot of people that having known me from high school days, don't realize that when I was in high school, I was also a clarinet player. In fact, uh, there were a few songs uh, that required clarinet in the instrumentation that back when I was a part of the Cat band, when I couldn't get the other band member to play it, I would take a crack at it myself. So I wasn't too bad on the clarinet. So for this album, for the Little Snake Charmer, I also included two clarinet pieces, and woohoo, both of them are original songs. The first one I'll show you, this one is should be familiar to those of you who remember the Loveland album by the Cat. This is the Loveland played on the clarinet by Johnny S.T. Tai from Little Snake Charmer album. We got the ocean wave, a change of scenery, get rid of those noisy little birds. and that was Loveland on the clarinet. Definitely not the same feel as a song was originally intended to be. As some of you might remember, Loveland was a more jumbled, experimental, electronic sounding piece. It was not slow and sleepy like this one. Now, I guess you can think of this as Loveland at night by the seaside. How's that? The next song I'm going to show you is also an original song I played on the clarinet. And this one was actually recorded when I was 17 years old. So, wow, over 20 years ago. God, I feel old. This one called I Can't Wait. I Can't Wait was one of the very first experimental songs I wrote when I was in high school. It got a few praises and some people really liked it, but I personally didn't like it at all, so I never uh, tried to do much with it. But I did record a version of it on the clarinet. I'm going to show you that here. So this is I Can't Wait, an original song by Johnny S.T. Tai, recorded over 20 years ago on the clarinet from the Little Snake Charmer album. Um, Personally, I think I didn't really do a really good job on that, but I'm usually my own worst critic. Um, So there's a lot more really beautiful instrumentation on the Little Snake Charmer. We're not going to sit here and preview the entire thing because, like I said, I think after a few songs it will just all start to sound the same. to you guys. But anyway, before we go, I'm going to show you guys one last song from the Little Snake Charmer. And just for the in the spirit of the season, I'm not even going to introduce this song because I think most of you know the name of this piece. I'm just going to thank you for checking out today's Music Monday, and as usual, we'll be back again tomorrow for Tactical Tuesday. For now, enjoy the song, and I will leave a link to where you can find the album in the video description. Thank you again. Have a good night.